Hey, what's up, guys? So, I want to talk about this short that we took this morning, why we took it, what we read in the tape that made us decide to take this setup, and how it all kind of started pre market. So, let's go back to London. We had this 1 hour bullish gap that was created during Asia, got inversed, right? That's a bearish sign, but price was actually very choppy and sideways. So, I wasn't bearish or bullish when I woke up and saw all this. I thought, okay, whatever, it's all good. We had this other gap though that when it got inversed right here at 904, right after the inversion, we expanded past away from it, so much so that we created a bearish fair value gap on the 5 minute too. So this sequence alone kind of gave me a short bias going into New York, but I wasn't set on it yet because the way we trade our system is we wait for overnight levels to get grabbed first, then we listen to the price and see if it's gonna actually expand away from it, or we're going to seek some type of reversal from the overnight level. In today's case, London low was taken right at the open, and it was a little choppy, but then it expanded away from it. So this expansion away from London low for me was enough to be bearish, because I thought, well, we already have all this bearish price action heading into New York, and then it just kind of followed through during the open. But let me talk about why we had a bullish case as well. We had this very clean 5 minute inversion that I was looking for. Let me just place it. I'll tell you why right now. So before we get into that, I'm seeing this expansion. I'm thinking, oh, if we get another fair value gap, a bearish one, and we kind of do one of those inversions and then invalidations by closing back into the bearish direction, I would have taken a short here, right? But that didn't happen. What ended up happening was we got this really nice bullish price action, okay? Inverse this bearish gap, inverse this bearish gap, had a break of structure. During just those three, we created a bullish fair value gap right here. We created a small bullish fair value gap right there. And then we had another one right there. Whoops. And then another one right there. So this price action is A plus for me if we're looking for longs. And it just made sense that because we're in an overall downtrend, if buyers were actually taking control, taking over and actually going to switch this trend around, then they would be able to displaceively get through this 5 minute gap, and the inversion would be my entry, and then I'd be going for London highs. That was kind of my logic reading the tape, because it just made sense that, I mean, we had A plus bullish price action, all these bullish gaps created, disrespecting all the bearish price action, and the final piece of the puzzle would have been the 5 minute inversion for an entry. But that didn't happen. My second scenario was, okay, we're in an overall downtrend, so I'm seeking shorts. If we don't inverse this 5, which means we would pretty much either rebalance it fully and then reject it, or just do what we did here, just tap into it and then reject it, that I would look for a bearish entry, which was this inversion. This is a bullish gap. We got the inversion right here at 1013, marketed in at 1014. This is our entry model, which was joining the prevailing trend. And simply we had our targets like the New York low of day, which was our targets for some accounts, and then 15-minute wick low for a couple other accounts like this one. And that was pretty much it. That's what we kind of saw before we entered either a long or the short, which actually is the one that happened. So as far as break even and trailing stop loss goes, we had this bullish gap created right here. And what I was thinking was, if we, well, I didn't reference that properly, but you guys can tell what I mean. If we inverse this gap, I would put stops break even, which we did, thankfully. And then after the inversion, we had an expansive sequence to the downside. We tagged New York low, so I thought at this point I must trail it, right? And we did to this swing high, because for me, we would have had to invalidate this bearish inversion that we got, and on top of that, we would have to inverse this bearish gap right here. So with these two gaps, I thought if price is willing to come above these two levels or gaps, that this swing high makes sense. That would be where I call it as invalid, and it would close me out. Either way would have been a green trade, thankfully, once we trailed that stop. But yeah, that was pretty much what we read as far as the trade goes. I hope it helps out, guys. I'm glad we just got wicked out for TP because, as you can see, it would have been a trailing stop. But yeah, either way, good day. Peace out, guys.